All right, so huge thank you for joining the stream. There's a lot of different clips I've got to play on this one, but it looks like Alexander is with us. Let's get Alexander's input before we move on to the next clip. Hey, Alexander, my friend, how's it going?
Mr. Attwood, glad to meet you at last.
Yes, have you been watching the show so far, and have you got any input on the release of the files, my friend?
Yes, I agree that the files should not be released.
Why?
Because there's a lot of rubbish in them. As someone who was once falsely accused of something, I won't mention what it was, but you should know that. Basically, Virginia Giuffe, the guy who's done the most work on this is a guy called Michael Tracy. Lady Colin Campbell's done a lot on it, and basically she's a fantasist. She was a fantasist, a serial liar. She accused all manner of people. She accused, before she met Epstein, she claims to have been trafficked by a bloke named Epstein, who there's no evidence she ever met him. He was, I suppose you call him a pimp. He used to import women from Eastern Europe. She claims to have been drugged and raped by two of her young friends in Palm Beach. She had a threesome with them. And now, posthumously, she's accused her own father. I mean, she's total fap. And then there's the Dershowitz case. What happened there was Dershowitz, acted for Epstein. She was perhaps cajoled into putting his name up. They had mutual litigation. When it came to discovery, she realised she couldn't produce any single evidence, any shred of evidence she'd met him. Dershowitz, I think, is like Brett Kavanaugh. He's one of these people who could document every day of his life for the past 50 years. But don't forget, he's an academic. He's done a lot of work on false allegations. He's an author, pundit. I don't believe she ever met Dershowitz. And then she retracts. She said, "Oh, I may have been confused. I may have been confusing with someone else." Seriously.
Alexander, let me just stop you there for a second, please. And we do welcome all viewpoints on the channel. Total freedom of speech, and you've hit on the Dershowitz case, etc., which people have often objected to regarding her story. So we do understand where you're coming from on some of those points, but a lot of those points I take exception to, and a lot of the viewers are taking exception to. Why do you think Prince Andrew paid out so much money to Virginia?
Lady Colin Campbell says it was a lot less than 12 million. It was basically an act of blackmail by the Queen's 70th and what's I don't know what it's 70th Diamond Jubilee, 70 years. I don't believe she ever had sex with Andrew. I do believe that photograph is genuine. But if you read her first interview was with the Mail on Sunday, February 27th, 2011, and in that she says that it said there was no suggestion that the prince did anything wrong, no suggestion there was any sexual contact, and she wanted a photograph to show my mom. Then years later, I was sexually abused by a member of the royal family. Boo hoo hoo. No, don't believe any of it.
Well, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was running an international honey trap operation?
From what I've seen, there were women. I mean, it's an old thing that very wealthy, powerful, influential men go with younger women. He had a lot of very wealthy friends, and the reality is that younger women go with older men. What's that? There's lots of Bernie Ecclestone. He made a much younger woman. Trump's wife is 25 years his junior. There were adult women who were.
If all this was just innocent activities, then Alexander, why does the U.S. government not want to release the Epstein files?
Well, as I said, well, let me put it this way: imagine you were a school teacher, right? And you're arrested one day, a 13-year-old girl. This actually happened to somebody. a bloke named he was interviewed by Julia Hartley-Brewer.
Can you put your head up? The viewers are asking if you can put your head up a little bit.
Yeah. Imagine you're a 13-year-old girl.
Maybe move your camera down a little bit so they can see you.
That's better.
Yeah, up.
Most people don't ask to see my face. Imagine that a 13-year-old girl accused you of rape, right? And the police carry out an investigation, and it turns out that you weren't at school that day, and the CCTV showing it's complete rubbish. Maybe she had sex with a boy and afraid she got pregnant and blamed you. Then the police come to you and say, Mr. Attwood, this is a total fabrication. How would you like us to issue a statement to the effect that Shaun Attwood was arrested for rape, but he's now been cleared? Or would you rather it buried? Because there will always be somebody out there who will say there was no smoke without fire.
Yeah, but the only conviction so far in this case is Ghislaine Maxwell, and multiple survivors have come forward and gave corroborating evidence to say exactly what happened with the massage routine where they brought these girls in. They had a pyramid scheme in the local school in Florida, and these massages turned into the grooming and the essaying of these young girls. It's consistently been reported by multiple victims.
Well, they were victims, not survivors. If you actually check what actually happened in Florida, in Palm Beach, yes, they were giving him massage. Let me state this, right? I've said this consistently. Epstein deserved prison. Ghislaine Maxwell deserves prison. In the UK, she would have got a lot less than 20 years, maybe 5 at top whack. Epstein would have got much more. They were giving him massages, and who else was recruiting these girls? Sweet Virginia. At least two women have claimed that. And she says, "Oh, it was a terrible time in my life." Well, no, even 16-year-olds have agency. There were kids in prison younger than that for murder. So the reason she wasn't brought in as a witness at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, she was totally unreliable. I feel she should have been on trial with Maxwell.
Have you read Virginia's book? Because she acknowledges her role in recruitment, and she says that it's one of the biggest regrets of her life, and disgusted by what happened to those ladies, and it was on her conscience.
Yeah, well, you've got regrets as well from what you did in Arkansas. Or was it Arizona? Arkansas, wasn't it? Arizona, yeah. You've got regrets, but if you'd have gone before the judge and said, "Look, I'm terribly sorry, I shouldn't have done this. Can I go home now?" What would he have said?
For the imposition of ecstasy, they would have looked at it as a mitigating factor that had shown remorse. Yeah,
mitigation, but mitigation goes only so far. Are you familiar with the Slender Man case? 12-year-old Slender Man case in Wisconsin. Two 12-year-old girls lured a third into the woods and stabbed her 19 times. Miraculously, she survived. That was in 2012, I think, or 2014. They're still, I think one of them has been released under license, but kids have agency. I mean, there's certain. A 12-year-old or 15, even a 60-year-old may not understand why bribery is wrong or technical fraud offences, but she was recruiting underage girls for Epstein. And she was
she was indoctrinated and had a Stockholm syndrome type control over her, which was only she only managed to get away from her after the visit time. Hold on a minute, we've got Kieran coming in. Kieran, have you heard what's been said so far?
Yeah, I have. Sorry about that feedback problem.
Don't worry, let's get on with it. What do you have to say to Alexander?
Well, he's entitled to his opinion, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's if these women were indoctrinated for sure, and maybe go on talking a little bit more. I need to pay more attention.
Well, indoctrination is only part excuse, isn't it? Isn't it?
Excuse for what?
Anything. I mean, terrorists.
For being a victim.
A lot of terrorists are indoctrinated, don't they? They've got this
Yeah, I
prevent program. You know, I mean, this. And the lies, she's told so many lies and destroyed so many lives.
Alexander, we appreciate you coming on and expressing your viewpoint. You know, we're overwhelmingly in support of Virginia on this channel, so you're a brave man to come on here. So we do appreciate that. But we've got to play some more clips and get on with the rest of the show. So thank you for coming on. All right,
thank
cheers. You. Cheers. So that was a good example of freedom of speech, folks, and everyone was polite in the chat, even though they didn't agree with Alexander. And you know, it's good to have someone on from time to time that doesn't agree with us, just so we can understand these other viewpoints that are out there. And there are still quite a few of them out there, folks. But we are trying to wake people up and educate people and get to the bottom of these things.